Okay, welcome everybody. All right, we are in Parshas Ki Tisa, and it has the incredible story of the getting of the tablets, the Luchos Rishonos, the first set of tablets, and then what happens is Moshe gets them. He comes down, sees the Jews doing the sin of the golden calf. Hashem told him that they were doing that. He comes, he sees it. When he sees it, he breaks the tablets. And then he goes and gets the second luchos, the second tablets. And the whole praying there's 120 days, the first 40 days from when they heard the Torah, they got the first set of tablets, sin of the golden calf. Next 40 days is a time of judgment where the Jewish people are in the balance. Moshe prays and they are not destroyed. And then Hashem says, come up and the last 40 days, and I'll give you the last set of tablets, which is culminates on Yom Kippur when he comes down with the second set of tablets, and that's when it's called the day of tremendous joy, Yom Kippur, because it's the day of forgiveness, the day we got the second tablets. Those two concepts work hand in hand. It's not like there happens to be Yom Kippur and we happen to have gotten the second tablets. No, this Luchos Shnios, the second set of tablets, is an indication. It's part of the forgiveness of this whole story. Now, there's a lot of things you need to understand about this dynamic. A lot of very, very difficult things to understand that we need to look at. So, first of all, the question that people always ask is, how did Moshe decide to destroy the tablets? Why? I mean, just give them back. You don't want to give them back, story when we'll get to this soon in the Navi class, when the temple is going to be destroyed, it says they threw up the keys and said, Hashem, take the keys back, because it's going to be destroyed. But why did Moshe himself break the tablets, break the luchos? Now, what makes that question even stranger is a few different parts here. One, it says, the beginning of this whole story of the getting of the tablets, it says here in the Parsha, it says that Hashem gave Moshe kalasol de berito. When he finished speaking to him, he gave him this gift. Okay? So he gave him a gift. All the commentaries have different explanations what it means. By 10, El Moshe kalasol de berito. God gave Moshe, when he finished speaking to him, the word kaloso means like a bride, the whole different explanations there. On Mount Sinai, he gave him the two tablets. Okay, so the commentators all say he gave him a gift. It's a gift. One explanation is that Moshe forgot the Torah. He would learn and learn and learn. At the end of the 40 days, he said, I don't remember anything. And Hashem said, okay, I'm giving it to you as a gift. Very strange. I mean, it's a great Moshe to remember, and then Hashem gives him this gift. Why? So it's very important to understand because it actually is the whole nature of Torah. Those who say, I'm very smart and I learned a lot of Torah, and now I got it, they don't have Torah. And that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, the person says, got the lo matzata, I worked really hard and I didn't get it. You don't believe him, he's lying. He says, lo yagati, I didn't work hard and I got Torah, then he's also a liar. The guy says, yagati, I worked hard, umatzati, I found it, I got it, then you can believe him. But the word is very strange. What do you mean you found it? If you worked hard, you should say, I earned it. But it's not that way. Why not? Because you work hard, but we have no ability to hold the Torah because it's Hashem and His Torah are one. So the working in the process means that maybe now, once you work, God will give it to you as a gift because you worked to get the Torah. But it's not something within your capability that I worked, now I got it, I'm very smart, and I went to school, I studied the Torah, and I mastered the Torah. No, that doesn't work that way. Only if you put the work in like Moshe did, and then it's still beyond you, because it will be, then Hashem will give it to you. So this verse is talking about a gift that God gave him at the end of the first 40 days. But the simple explanation of the text is, that's the Gemara, the simple explanation is he gave him a gift of the tablets. The luchos were this tremendous gift, the greatest thing ever. In the physical world, or in the world that we have it, something to have that's godly, no such thing as on this level. That's why the tablets, the luchos, were in the Holy of Holies. And the whole system of how the tablets worked in the world was supernatural. Even though it says there were 10 miracles in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, constant miracles, but they were miracles that happened, but there's only one miracle that by definition always had to happen, which was the sitting of the ark was in a place that was too small to contain it in the Holy of Holies. The measurement was exactly the same size. You couldn't do it because you can't, when you put something in something else, it's got to be smaller. It wasn't smaller. And therefore what? The whole reality of the tablets is of a divine nature, and it's miraculous. It couldn't have fit in the Holy of Holies, but it did. So this tremendous gift Hashem gives Moshe. Amazing. Now, but Hashem knows what's going to happen in the future. Hashem knows Moshe is going to break it in a couple of minutes, whatever. Soon after he's going to break it. So what's the great gift? I understand, you did a job and I paid you and you got it. And okay, so then you lost the money, but you earned it, you got what you got. But here, this is a gift that Hashem knows is not going to be a gift because it's going to be gone almost immediately. What kind of gift is that? Worse. The Medrash says the following. The Medrash says, that's very deep Medrash. We obviously can't be literal. I'll say one part of it. You can have the whole class in this Medrash. The Medrash says, at the moment that the Jews were doing the sin of the golden calf, Hashem was in the process of giving the tablets to Moshe. Tablets were 6 tefachim, 6 handbreadths. 2 were, so to speak, by Hashem. 2 were by Moshe, and there's 2 in the middle. And what happened? So when the Jews started doing the sin of the golden calf, it says in the Medrash that Hashem wanted to take it back. They shouldn't have this. And it said that no, Moshe, he strengthened himself and he grabbed it. I would say it can't be literal. That didn't overpower God. Not overpower God. Hashem is absurdity. So what does it mean that Moshe, he grabbed, and it's considered his praise? In the end of the Chumash, it says Yada Chazaka, the great strength of Moshe, that Moshe did the miracles, and the commentators, what do you mean Yada Chazaka, this strong hand of Moshe, that he grabbed the tablets. So it's Moshe's claim to fame, the fact that at this moment when they could have not have gotten the tablets, the luchos, Moshe grabbed the luchos. It doesn't mean he grabbed it from Hashem. That makes no sense. And then he grabs it and he breaks it. Why does he break it? Well, one of the rationales is because if it's like a marriage contract, he gives it to the Jewish people, then they're married, and then they've just now committed adultery with their golden calf. So he takes it and he breaks it. Well, wouldn't it have been better, therefore, not to take it at all? Right? If you took it, now it's a different discussion. Now it's not married. Maybe she's engaged, not engaged. A whole different discussion. But if you're going to break the tablets, Moshe, because you don't want them to be married and then they've committed adultery by having this the idol of the golden calf, then why did you take it in the first place? And it's a tremendous thing that Moshe grabbed the luchos. It's such a tremendous, important thing. Why is it important if you're planning on breaking it? And if you can't have it because it's a symbol of the fact that the Jews would then be in worse shape because they were sort of married to Hashem and they transgressed. So don't take it in the first place. That is some of the issues that we have to look at. The story of the golden calf, the story of the luchos and the golden calf. Now, let's go a little further here with this story. First of all, let's understand, and we've talked about this before, but what was the fundamental difference between the first tablets and the second tablets? It's a very important question. So we'll have to really analyze it, but the simple explanation that the commentaries bring down, it's brought down in the Midrashim like this, is the essential difference was the stone that was used for the first tablets was a heavenly stone. It was not from the physical world. It was God provided the writing and the tablet. In the second tablet, Hashem said to Moshe, Psalacha, you have to hewn the stone. And that's the medrash that there was a sapphire appeared in his tent, and he had to hewn out the stones. So the difference really is that both of them are the writing of Hashem. The difference is the first one, the tablets, the stone itself is from God, and the second one, the stone comes from below, from Moshe. Okay. Now, why is that so significant? So the answer, as we've discussed before, is that there are two different levels. The level of the first tablets is the idea that the body and soul have now transformed and become heavenly. And that's what it means. It's an amazing drush. It says that the writing on the tablets was charut, was engraved through and through on the stone. Now, why is it so important? It's engraved through and through. There's miracles. You can read it back and forth on different sides. But why is it so important? And the answer is like this. Imagine you have a piece of paper and you're writing a word of Torah, you're writing a letter to somebody. So the paper is holding the message. The paper is like the body, but the spirit, the neshama, the light is the writing itself that's giving you your message. Now, you can't write in the air because if no one can read it, you need a vessel to hold it, a body to hold it, but the soul is the writing. So therefore, what does it mean that it was imprinted, it was engraved through and through? The soul of the words of the Torah went through the body of the writings, of the tablets, and that was a heavenly thing too. And the Jewish people were appropriately transposed and transformed also, where their body was a soul item that was totally permeated by the neshama. And that's why it says engraved, the word charut. The Talmud says don't read engraved charut, read cherut. They are free from death and free from the Yetzer Hara because they're transformed. That is the first level of the first tablets. The second one, though, comes from the earth. Moshe has to bring it up. And that means the body, although, yes, the writing does go through, but it's still dealing with a physical and lower form, and it's not transposed and transformed the same way as we were on the level of the first tablets. And that's what the level of the first tablets, we would have not died. We would have been back to the Garden of Eden, back to the before the Chet of Adam and Chava. The second tablets, no, we live in our world and we have a body. The body comes from below, and there is a soul that permeates it, but it depends on how much you allow it to permeate your body. Okay, that is a crucial difference to understand the first and second tablets. And with that, we're going to answer some of our original questions. Let's go back. Why did Moshe grab this? Grab the tablets? Why did Hashem give him this great gift if he's going to break it? Why did he break it in the first place? Try to understand. So let's first understand the sin of the Jews, the Chet HaEgel, in brief. Whenever the sages refer to it, they say chet means a mistake, inadvertent, the Chet HaEgel. Also, they say ta'u. The word ta'ud is a mistake. It doesn't sound like a mistake. The golden calf sin is it's the sin of sins. But really, in a deeper sense, it was a mistake. And that's the way we look at what they did wrong. The famous medrash that Hashem says to Moshe when the Jews were getting the Torah, he says, you see now what you see, I see something else. What do I see? The Jews see the heavenly chariot. Now, the Merkava means how God runs the world. There's different ways the heavenly abode, how God runs the world. And once you come into this world, there's different ways. The name Elohim, Master of all powers, is a plural name, because although and that's where people make a mistake. They see different forces and they don't know, and they don't realize it's all from one God. But the way Hashem runs his world and how he does it, so he said, when I appeared to the Jews at Mount Sinai, they got the Torah, they looked at my chariot and they broke away part of the chariot. What does that mean? The famous, in the vision of Yecheskel, there is a lion on this side, and then there's the face of the bull on the left side, and there's the eagle, and there's a human being, and this is different aspects of how God runs his world. Just like there's 4 elements, earth, wind, water, and fire. There are different aspects how he runs the world. And the Jews saw it and they said, ooh, there we see this aspect of the bull. And that was how it says they were already planning to break off from the chariot and to do the sin of the golden calf. What does that mean? It doesn't sound like a mistake, sounds very bad. Let's understand what it means. Why did the Jews do the sin of the golden calf? They did it because they said that Moshe is not here. Moshe was the sort of a conduit to get the words from Hashem and direct us. Now he's gone. We have to create something, other focal point to connect to God. It's obviously wrong. But what do they think? They thought, let's take the part of the chariot, the left side, the bull, which represents the left, and the bull represents judgment. We're in the desert, the place of judgment, the place of problems. And now we need to have something, because Moshe is gone. Not that this is God. We don't believe that. Did the Erev Rav believe it? The mixed multitude? The Jewish people did not believe that. And that's why it was a mistake. It was a mistake because they thought they were serving Hashem. Like Aaron said to them, okay, it's a holiday for God tomorrow. And Aaron was trying to stall them, so Moshe would come down, but they bought it. They, from their perspective, yeah, of course it's a holiday for God. So what does that mean? It means on the external level, they sinned. On the internal level, they were mistaken. That's what it means. Okay. So you have the split between doing something wrong, which is called a mistake, called a ta'us, achet, externally, but internally, I didn't know that. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was serving Hashem. That's what they thought. That's what they believed. Now let's understand the idea of the tablets. The tablets, as we said, has the external, the body, and it has the internal. It has the soul, that's the letters of the tablets. Now, if Moshe doesn't take it from Hashem, then we don't have it. It's no place in us. There's no engraving. Until we get it, the engraving that happened, the words of the Torah that go onto the tablets have not permeated us yet. Once Moshe takes it, the neshama, the soul, is now connected to us. That's why he had to take it. He understood that he has to get out of the problem of, now are we married to Hashem and do we break? But he also understood something else, that by taking this, by taking the soul of the tablets that is permeating the body, it means that we now have that in us. And he takes it. And that's what it's called, the strong hand of Moshe. What does it mean, the overpower? You don't overpower God. It means that Moshe was in a test right now. Because it's very easy for the leader to say, you're right, they don't deserve it. What connection do these people doing the sin of the golden calf have to the words and the soul of the tablets, the words of Hashem that are permeating the stone? There's no connection to that. That's what, as a leader, he could have said. And that's what it means that Moshe was miskaber. He overcame his own challenge to go and to say, you know what, Hashem wants to take it back. You know what, they don't deserve it. And unfortunately, we've seen sometimes, leaders that made that kind of mistake. tablets. They didn't go and say, no, they should have it. So Moshe overcomes and grabs it, means he says they are still connected and they still should have this tablets. Because even if on the external level they are mistaken, on the internal level they're still connected. And he takes the tablets. Now, but there's a problem because they're totally broke, they're totally disconnected. So what does he do? He breaks them. And what does he break? He doesn't break the words. It says that the osios were Parshas v'avir, the letters left and they were up in the air because it's the word of Hashem. It can't disappear. Hashem's words are always there. So the words didn't go. What broke? What broke were the stone. That's what broke. And now we could say, listen, they were mistaken. They did it externally, and externally that yes, there is a crumbling of the stone, but the light, the words are still connected to them. Now I want to explain this because this is very, very important to understand. Very important to understand why Moshe had to do it in this way. So when Hashem tells Moshe that I'm going to, hewn the stone, and I will put on the second tablets as a I will put on the second tablets the words that were on the first tablets that you broke. And the sages tell us, the Zohar says it's the same exact words. We'll have to explain this second a little bit. If you look at it in the Torah, you might not see exactly the same. I'll explain why. But it's the same exact words, meaning the words are there, the light is there, and now it's just been transformed onto the second tablets. A lower set of tablets, that's true. But still, it's the original soul. Now, where are the broken pieces of the first tablet? So it says they were underneath the second tablets. They were gonus. They were hidden there. And this is what we have to understand, a very crucial point. I recently saw an incredible thing. It says that, I don't know what these studies are, but it's a fascinating thing. And I don't know exactly the science and how far it goes, but they started to find that the DNA of a person, the genes, at a certain level, even if a person's dead, they can be activated. What does that mean? What does that mean? What is the implication of that? Well, for us, it makes perfect sense because we say that a person who experienced life, even afterwards, there's some aspect, we call it the loose bone, the bone that will come back to life, that can be stimulated and bring life back. And that's what it's fascinating because on a scientific level, that could be this idea. The DNA really, unless you destroy it, still has the code and it could be stimulated to have some life. It's amazing. On a deeper level, what that means is that once the person got the soul in his body, even when the soul leaves, there is an imprint that stays there. And that imprint is waiting to be revitalized. That is called burial. That's why you bury a person, you don't burn them, because when you bury them, it's like you're putting them into the earth that they can resprout, that they can come back. That's what it is. That's called something that needs geniza, needs to be concealed and put in its place, and it will re-flourish. That is where the first tablets are. They're there. They're just buried. They're buried underneath the second tablets because once we took the first tablets, then the light was in us. And even if the body was broken, but still, we experienced it, and we are guaranteed to get back to the level of the first tablets. And that is exactly the great present. And that's why Moshe grabbed it, because He said, by me getting the writing of the tablets, even if I break the body of it, the light has affected the body of the people, and they will then be relevant to it. Now, this sounds like, very mystical, not relevant to your world, but it's totally relevant to our lives. Why? You have Pesach coming up. Think about last Pesach, and it was like unbelievable. And he said, oh, where'd I go after that? You had a Shabbos. Shabbos was amazing. And then afterwards, so what am I doing? I have these moments, and then I lose. No. Every moment that you experience the connection to that light is inside, and it's just waiting to be reignited. And that's what a person has to do. Person has to realize that every moment that you grab, that you feel connected, that you have an experience, it's imprinted in your being. Now, you shouldn't forget it. And that's why there's a whole thing about not forgetting your Torah and reviewing it. But it always means that you'll be able to connect to it. Now, Arizal says, and he calls it the Mishnah Torah, the repeating of Torah. He says because there's two Torahs: the Torah you learn when you're alive, and after a person dies is the Torah. It means whatever he learned the first time around, it's in him. He gets it on a totally different level after life. So even the things a person learned now that he may forget, hopefully he's not doing it out of negligence, but if he forgets. So, but it became part of him, and it will re-sprout. And that's why Moshe had to take the tablets, and that's why he had to break them. He had to say, you guys on the external level are not able to handle these tablets. Externally, you made this mistake. Externally, you're looking at ways to connect to God that are inappropriate and wrong. But internally, you are. And by breaking them, by showing that there's the break on the external level, the person died, the thing fell apart, but there's an imprint of it, it shows that you are connected to this and you will experience it again. That's the famous Chazal. Baby is born one day. Some opinions also, even the baby is a fetus in the mother's womb. And important to know, people who miscarry, there are shitas, and this is what the truth, that they have a portion of the world to come because they were conceived. I mean, you just think about that; it's unbelievable. Person that to realize that once life was created, it's life, and even if there's a separation from the soul to the body, from the life to the vessel, but it is an imprint there, and that imprint can now be rejuvenated. And that really is now. I want to answer one question that sort of is perplexing, but it says that Hashem, and it says in the Zohar, don't say lashon hara about the second tablet. Second tablet, exactly what there was in the first tablets. And as the verse says, I will take the light, the things that I wrote in the first tablets, I'll put them on the second tablets. As we said, it's the soul being imprinted now on the body. But there's two things I want to share with you here that's strange. One is that when Moshe gets the second tablets, Hashem says to him, well, don't feel bad about the first tablets. Why? Because the first tablets only had the 10 commandments. The second tablets have halacha and medrash and agada. What? What does that mean? The second tablets weren't greater than the first tablets, and the first tablets contained everything inside of it also. I mean, we know that. That's what it says in many Midrashim, that it was all contained. Sad Yagon goes to the 10 commandments and shows you all 613 commandments from it. So what is Hashem comforting Moshe that the second tablets have like more? They have medrash and they have agada. They weren't written on the second tablets. Second of all, which is weird, is that it says from this statement in the Zohar that the writing of the first tablets is exactly the same writing the second tablets. But if you look at the way the second tablets are recorded in the book of Devarim, there are some changes of the words. Like, for example, one of the famous ones, it says that, there's a few famous ones, but one is the famous one, it says that it's Zachor, it says remember Shabbos. And the first tablet's written Zachor. The second tablet, it's written Shamor. And the famous teaching is that when Hashem said it, it came out as two things in one sound. And the first tablet's written Zachor, second tablet's written Shamor. First tablet's written to remember the Shabbos, second tablet's written to keep the Shabbos, guard the Shabbos. Some other classic ones, it says that in the second tablets, it says keep a Shabbos because Tov, it's good for you. And there's a famous Gemara, it says, since the first tablets didn't have a Tet, the letter Tet, which is Tov, that's why they were broken. Second tablets have the letter Tet, and therefore, because it says it was good, Tov, and therefore they weren't broken. But according to what we're saying, it's the same exact tablet. So what does it mean? There's correct changes, slight changes, but so this is very deep. Let's try to understand. When I have a light that is being shined, so it's one light, but if I put filters over it, the way you experience light is different. I put a red filter, a blue filter, you will see the light differently. So from the perspective of the light, it's the same light. From the perspective of the filter, of the receiving entity, the light could look differently because the light is shining on a red filter. That really was what Hashem comforted Moshe, and that really is the difference between the wording seemingly in the two stories of the tablets. Hashem comforts Moshe because it's like this. The first tablets was like you have a light and you're seeing from one end of the earth to the other and everything's included in it. But that's a little bit of a problem, because right now the Jewish people got it and the rest of the world is sleeping, literally sleeping. It says that when they got the Torah, the world shook and they got nervous. It was going to be a flood or something. They went to Bilam and they said, what's going on? Why do you hear the sounds and all these things? He says, no, don't worry. Hashem's giving Torah to the Jews. They were like, okay, wonderful, great. So the world was sleeping. So the first element is that when the first tablets, we are raised to this high level. Our souls are from the heavens. Our bodies are from the heavens, but the world is not being changed. On the second level, where the body is coming from the earth, we need to do this work to fix up the physical world and everyone in it. And that was the comfort that Hashem told Moshe. Yes, on the first tablets, you also had Medrash and Agada. Yeah, all these things, but you didn't need it. You didn't have the external problems that you had to work and figure it out and understand it. So it was included in there. But like if you're an angel, you're not really, you're studying and you're differentiating between like stealing and not stealing, and Yetzer Hara and not Yetzer Hara is not really there because you're not in a world of muck. You're someplace else. When you're in a world and you're a physical person, you need to now understand and get into so you're going instead of from the in out, from the out in. And that's what it means that now that you fell to this lower level and the physical, the stone is coming from the earth, you're going to need to work to understand Torah, the Medrash, the Agada, and that's going to fix up the physical world and bring it back up to the level of the soul. And it's going to fix everything in the world. And that's also the differences between the first tablets and the second. The words are the same. The light is the same. But the receiver now has to hear something different. So, for example, when Hashem said, remember the Shabbos, Zachor, it's a high level. It's the level of seeing, something clearly, and I know it. Included in that is not to transgress it, not to go past it. The Shamor is included in there. But now on the lower level, when we have to read it, what we're hearing, right, is the idea of Shamor. So according to this answer, the words, if we look at the second tablets, it would be exactly the same as the first tablets. When the Torah tells us, it tells us what you heard now. You heard the level of Shamor. Okay, that Shabbos now is good for you. You understood how that was keeping you alive. Okay, that's what you saw it in a certain way where, well, okay, this is what ties me. I'm going to work whole work week, and this is told. This is the point of life that I get to connect to and pull me out. So what happens here? Let's summarize. It's just this the whole amazing approach here, and we've called it from different sages, Dayael and Tzaddik, Hashem Shmuel, and places. But the idea we want to say is as follows. Is that this moment Hashem gave the tablets to Moshe was crucial that Moshe took them, even though he was going to break them. The breaking them meant the external world was cracked, but the permeating of the soul was already relevant to us. And therefore, we can get back. If he wouldn't have taken it, we wouldn't have had a connection to it. Only by him taking it is it now engraved on us. That's the imprint on the body of every action that you do that's positive in your world. But now when it's broken, the body's broken. And what do? Instead, we take the body from the physical world. Moshe takes the tablets, the stone from the physical world. And that means now we have to go from the outside in. We have to clean the body, work, understand the Torah, fix everything up. We're coming from a lower position. But that one, when we do, then we fix it up in the deepest way that we fix the whole world. And that's really why the second tablets come out in Yom Kippur. The first tablets in Shavuos is the world of perfection. And it's hard to live in the world of perfection. The words of Torah maintain in those who make a mistake in it. When it falls down and you have to pull it up together and you see that the pilot light is always on, the soul is still there and you've pieced it all together, then you fix the whole universe. Okay, have a good one, everyone.